Jesus is kind of the Luke Skywalker in the Gospels. And then who would be the bad guy in Star Wars? Obviously, it'd be Darth Vader or the Empire, right? That's what makes that movie great. And the interplay between those two characters culminating in the big scene on the Death Star. Now, sometimes, especially those of us in ministry, or if we've read through the Gospels many times before, or even if you're even an expert in the Scriptures, you know, sometimes things hide in plain sight. And sometimes we can see something so many times and we just read it over and we're inoculated to the truth of it. And what happened is, as I'm perusing the Gospels, it just stuck out. I thought, wait a minute, who's fighting with Jesus? Like Darth Vader's always fighting with Luke in every scene, but who's fighting with Jesus in every chapter? Well, you know, it really wasn't Pilate. It really wasn't Roman soldiers. It wasn't really demons, really. It wasn't really even any other religion. It was the Pharisees, right? Almost every chapter, Jesus is doing a miracle, and then somebody's getting upset and wanting to kill him. So if the Pharisees are the Darth Vader of the gospel story, just like Star Wars, I thought, man, shouldn't I know more about them? So I thought, you know, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a study of the Pharisees. So I got out my Bible, and every single reference to the Pharisees I wrote out and did a thorough study of every reference to the Pharisees in the 4 Gospels. And to my shock, I found you could take all of the aspects, all the issues of Pharisees, and really categorize them into 6 different compartments. So here are the 6 areas of the Pharisee. Number 1, hypocrisy. Number 2, cliques. Number 3, boxes or religious boxes. 4, vanity, right? Somewhere Jesus said in the Gospels, everything the Pharisees do, they do for men to see. So performing for men, which involves motives, which we always think God doesn't really care about, or does he? 5, rules. 6, abuse, or abusive discipline. These 6 areas just kind of shot out at me. And this one, hypocrisy, really the first step. If you look at these 6 areas, they're kind of a progression. They kind of go from one to the next. Remember the time where Jesus was with the disciples, and this is right after they had fed the 5,000, and the disciples just want to celebrate. I mean, wouldn't you? Incredible miracle. What a great day. And Jesus decides to basically be the party pooper, and he says, you know, guys, watch out for the leaven of the Pharisees. See ya. Right? And the disciples are like, what's he talking about? Is he talking about bread? What's leaven? Watch out for the leaven of the Pharisees. Now we have a hint in one of the Gospels because it actually says, which is hypocrisy. So we know Jesus was talking about hypocrisy when he said that to his disciples. And what stuck out at me is, hey, if the closest, most committed followers of Jesus, if Jesus is so worried that it's possible for them to turn out to have the same leaven as the Pharisees, that he went ahead and warned them right after a great event, do you think it's possible that you and I could fall into the same trap? Is it possible? Would Jesus say that to us today? Well, like I said, sometimes things hide in plain sight when you see it over and over again, but it just jumped out at me, and I realized, no, I'm not a hypocrite, but I'm also not perfect. I'm far from it, right? And I began to see little aspects of myself in each one of these. I wasn't committing them in any major way. In fact, I many times had talked about not participating in these types of things, but then here God shows me, hey, Jeff, that's great, but you and I need some work to do. What about you? And he began to just reveal some things one at a time, and I began to see that I am the new Pharisee. And so the book is really about me and steps I took to get rid of the new Pharisee within me. And so that's really what this book is a self-help, self-growth book. And I just want to leave you with this encouragement that if you're looking for a shot in the arm, looking for just a new growth season in your spiritual walk, I would really encourage you to not only pick up the book on Amazon.com, but go ahead and enroll in the new Pharisee Course. You can take it at your own pace. You could press the button down below the video and enroll and change your life. And if you want to change the world, if we're going to change the world, we need to change first. And we can't change ourselves. We need the Holy Spirit to really not only reveal to us the changes, but then He's even got to do the changing.